I forget the name of this episode.
Oh, it's Deathwalker.
Is it Deathwalker?
It's named for the character. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I don't know how I could remember that it was called Deathwalker.
Deathwalker. Deathwalker. Deathwalker! Deathwalker!
Deathwalker. Deathwalker.
Deathwalker.
The Deathwalker was Deathwalker.
Deathwalker.
The Deathwalker.
Deathwalker. Deathwalker.
Deathwalker. Deathwalker. It's Deathwalker.
Deathwalker. Deathwalker. Deathwalker. Deathwalker.
There would be no constant bombardment of reminders.
It's really weird how, like, we never knew that character was evil.
Right.
Like, they didn't give her an evil moniker. She didn't drive a Tesla or wear a MAGA hat, so I didn't know that she was supposed to be a villain.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't even think she had shifty eyes. In fact,
she had Disney
really
eyes.
Big eyes. I was like, are those have to be prosthetics, obviously.
Yeah, cause they were more than just contacts, because they were too big to...
do we look at the actress? Does she have, like, just larger than average eyes?
I didn't look at the actress.
What are the round bits of your eyes called again?
Iris?
Sure. They were very large.
Yeah.
But I think you would have to already have, like, large eyes to fit those.
I would think.
But it was just a little... Like,
it was
not
quite Uncanny Valley, but it was, it was pushing it.
Yeah.
It was like, did you ever see Alita Battle Angel?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I actually liked that movie.
Yeah, it was
pretty
fine.
good.
But yeah, it was similar to that, but done with practical instead of digital.
Yeah.
Well, B5 does have some digital effects. They didn't have that level to where they could track eyes like that.
In fact, when B5 is doing a digital effect with actual human assets, because it's not high def.
Right.
Because they
were shooting on
they're shooting
beta
camera
and then digital beta. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they would transfer it to tape.
Yep.
Do the effects there because it would air on tape.
Yep.
So yeah, that I'd noticed that a lot on last episode.
Yeah.
It was like,
oh,
an effect shot's about to happen because everything's a little blurry.
Yeah, everything's gone a little blurred. Not quite the same resolution as film.
No.
Only so many lines. 500. Well, I think it's 525, but then there's the overscan area. It's been a while. Mm-hmm. I used to know all this stuff.
So isn't it like 480 when it?
It's 480. Yeah. So you've got 525 is the overscan,
but interlaced.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's actually
this is some hot Babbling 5 talk.
Babbling on about old school video. The videography I learned. Okay. So we start off with Natoth, the attaché of Ambassador Jakar.
And, the Narn.
The Narn. And she sees this woman going through customs to enter the station, coming off of a Minbari vessel. And then she flips out for no reason.
Yeah, Grandpa Simpson style.
Yeah.
Walker.
That's the dog. And just beats the tar out of her.
Yeah. Like picks up a tool, like a metal wrench or something,
right.
and just I was like, I'd be dead.
Oh, yeah.
I'd be dead twice.
Easily.
I mean, they'd resuscitate me and then I'd die a second time.
Again, from the shock of everything. And yes, Screaming Deathwalker, which we never hear in this episode.
Nope. Never once.
Never once. And, so obviously there's a lot of backstory with this character. It's great because this is an episode of the week episode.
It is.
Very little to build the greater world happens with one or two small.
I would say the end scene.
Talia stuff has, and then the Vorlon stuff has some larger world building. So I have gravity against me. I took some notes.
Good. I did not because I just watched it last night and it was just one of those episodes where I'm like, it's such a chore to have to rewatch one of the greatest shows ever made.
It sure is. So one of my favorite moments, so she's been knocked out, she has some sort of drug on her person, they're not really sure what it is, they don't really know who she is, no one really believes this is Deathwalker because it's been decades and she hasn't aged.
Yes.
So, Natoth is arrested, is being held by Sinclair.
Yes.
Jakar comes in and asks for her to be reprimanded into his custody.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
He says no, but she can be under house arrest
in
at
your
quarters. So...
If you will release Natoth into my custody, I'll take full responsibility for her conduct.
Given the circumstances, that's impossible. However, I will agree to house arrest pending outcome of our investigation. Guards, take Ms. Natoth to Ambassador Jakar's quarters. She's not to leave for any reason.
I think it just means...
On a nearly perfect show, there are moments of imperfection.
I guess you could make the argument that Babylon 5 security will remain outside so she cannot
Sure.
leave. So it's not Jakar who gets to make the decisions of where she can and can't go.
Sure.
But yeah,
But she is
under house
immediately
arrest, reprimanded.
Yeah, in Jakar's
Jakar's
custody. Yeah.
Also, and a side note on that, the ambassadors get nice quarters, but nice quarters for a space station.
Yes.
So not big.
No,
I think
it's
our set is probably bigger.
Yeah, it's studio apartment.
I don't want someone in my quarters, man. Like, you
No,
got to be around
that's
all these
all
people.
these- right.
They're aliens, so they probably smell funny.
They have to.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
They eat things called like spoo.
Right. What is that? What if to them
It's very fresh.
poop smells like flowers?
Right.
And then they just smell of poop.
Right. It will have to entirely to do with their.
I don't want it.
Yeah.
Don't reprimand her to my custody. Just put her at
Put her in the weird lizard people wing.
There you go. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Anywho,
Totally fine.
Yeah, I'm just
you would make an excellent Dilgar.
thanks.
So we find out while they're not in his custody, we find out that the Narn are trying to do business with Deathwalker because they believe they'll get a tactical advantage over the Centauri
Yes.
by purchasing data from her. Then immediately we find out that the human government's doing the exact same scummy thing.
Yep.
Trying to get her brought over to Earth to get her research.
We should mention that she is in a coma at this point in
Yes,
the
we
medical bay.
and we don't fully know what her research is yet.
Right.
It is pretty quickly discovered what it is, but that is when we discover, after she wakes up, that the Wind Swords, who we met in the pilot of Babylon 5, that's who tried to kill Kosh and then blame it on Sinclair. They're a Membari sect of the warrior caste. And the most militant, and they are the ones that told Sinclair that there's a hole in his mind, which led to much of the discoveries of last episode, where that hole is the Membari kidnapping him, brain scanning him, etc.
Yes, the door to that hole has been opened.
Yes, indeed it has. And that's when we find out that she is allegedly developing an immortality or nigh immortality serum.
Yeah.
It prevents death from old age and from disease.
Yep.
You can still get shot in the face,
Sure.
but yeah.
You're essentially
You're
immortal.
essentially
or
immortal,
at least
barring
very
accident or
long-lived.
injury.
Yep.
Which
And
is,
and she knows that it works because she's used it on herself. That is why she
That's
still
why
appears to have
is-
not aged.
Yeah, she looks middle-aged or maybe 30-ish instead of the grandmother they said she should be.
Right.
Then we cut away to Kosh mysteriously hiring Talia Winters.
Yes,
So the
she's
Vorlon is the most advanced race on Babylon 5.
And he needs a psychic
And
for
he
hire.
needs, psychic for hire for negotiations with a weird guy in an even weirder hat.
I love that hat.
That
with
hat. And with like the spike brim, like
Yeah.
or it's like a V cut out on each side.
Yeah.
Of a normally otherwise cowboy brimmed.
I assume
kind
we'll
of hat.
have a photo.
Yeah,
or a still.
we'll do some
something.
cutaways.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite a look.
It's worth seeing.
Yeah.
And the guy, I mean, whoever plays him, so likable.
Likeable in like a vaudevillian kind of way.
Yes.
Like he's very animated and very like if you ran into him, you're like, okay, you would be a fun casual acquaintance.
Yeah.
Not a good friend.
No.
Like, I don't want to be seen with you, but I want to be around you.
Yeah, he's the guy that calls at 2 a.m. after you've been asleep for a few hours.
Right.
And like, hey,
Yeah.
what are you doing, buddy?
It's like, well, I'm waking up now, apparently. And while they have their first encounter with this dude and kind of wrap it all up,
they're speaking in riddles.
they're speaking in riddles back and forth, Kosh and this character whose name I did not write down and I should have.
Yeah.
And then
And Talia's befuddled.
Talia's befuddled, asks
am I
Kosh
here?
what's going on, and then he says a great Vorlonish line, if you want to understand, listen to the music, not the song.
Yes.
It's like, that's such a Vorlon thing to say.
And-
There's a lot more of that coming.
And yeah, his Vorlon thing too for that meeting was like, we'll meet at this place at the hour of what was it? Oh gosh, it was
Because it made me think Rush Hour.
right, but it was something like scampering
or scuttling or
something weird like that.
Yeah,
and then the next time we'll meet at the hour of longing. It's
right.
like-
Yeah. Very, very Vorlon.
Yes.
But so she doesn't get anything out of Kosh other than riddles,
Right.
and then she goes back and asks this guy, who, by the way, when she brain scans, blank slate, which
Total blank.
super weird.
And then she starts to
Right. So he says it's best not to reflect on it too much, and that trips something in her brain, where she sees a image of herself in the mirror.
Yeah.
But it does not seem like the Talia we know. It's mysterious.
Mirror Talia.
Yeah,
She's got a
yes,
goatee.
she's got a goatee. So we know she's the evil version because of the goatee. Anyway, things continue on as they do. We cut away again to Jakar trying to persuade Deathwalker to do business with the Narn, not the human. We'll triple. And then she's like, well, tell you what I really want is the head of Natoth.
Yeah.
Within an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he just kind of was like, he's like, I'll give you anything. And then she says that, and he's like, oh. And it just kind of storms out.
Yeah. Storms out, and then she
It's a big ask.
does an evil laugh.
Yeah.
So you know she's the bad guy now. Like, if only we knew from her name. But
What was her name again?
I think it might have been Deathwalker.
Deathwalker?
Yeah. If they had said it in the episode, that would have been helpful.
Rings a bell. And at this point, she has admitted that that's who she is. I don't know if we said that. And she has put on her Nazi doctor uniform.
Right.
Would she be a space Nazi doctor or a Nazi space doctor?
Ooh. I think a space Nazi doctor, because I think a Nazi space doctor does her doctoring in space. But a space Nazi doctor is a Nazi doctor from space.
Yeah. I'm with that.
Okay.
But have we talked about like her speech? She's the last of her.
She's the last of the Dilgar. The Dilgar were super aggressive. They were attacking the humans. They were attacking the League of Non-Aligned Worlds. They were attacking the Narn. And in all of their warfaring, they got pretty well devastated when Earth entered the fray, sort of analogous to World War II. We show up after having breakfast.
Where were you?
And then after all of the losses that were inflicted on them in the war, apparently their sun went nova, wiping out their home planet, and she is, as far as we know, the last living Dilgar.
And what is known about her particularly, and part of their species, was doing lots of crazy experimentation.
Super unethical, war crime, genocidal, like introducing a plague onto a planet, just to watch the entire planet die.
Yeah.
To see how long it took.
Not good.
They are credited, they didn't really list, but they are credited with wiping out whole species, like sentient species.
Yeah.
So there should be other races in Babylon 5 that don't exist because of the Dilgar.
And because of all this, the argument that Earth is making is like, okay, these are all tragedies, but if something can be gained that benefits sentience from that, then
let's turn this bad into a good.
Right.
Let's take this serum and, at least it'll give those deaths meaning.
And I think they imply that perhaps she is seeking some kind of
redemption arc for herself or for her race,
which could track for a story.
Yeah, sure.
But I think it's a convenient story that you're telling yourself to justify.
Right. And one of the interesting things about this is actually the writer, who I'm going to annoyingly call JMS because it's faster. Not because we're intimate. I hate when people try to shorten, like when our friend shortened Nicolas Cage to Nick Cage, and we gave him no end of grief because no one called him Nick.
Your buddy Nick.
Yeah, your buddy Nick. Oh. Really? Yeah.
We were so nice to everyone.
Nice to our friends when we were teenagers. So JMS is a lot easier to say than
John Michael
Straczynski, or Joe Michael Straczynski, or Joe. I guess they call him Joe.
Oh.
I don't know. JMS.
That works for me.
We're professional here.
Yeah.
So he actually was trying to think of what we would do if a Nazi doctor had useful information that would benefit humanity. Like, to what lengths would we go to redeem that?
Yeah.
Now, we actually kind of did that with the space program.
Yeah, Operation Paperclip.
Yeah. So we brought over, like, basically everyone who had been working for the Nazis to build rockets for warfare became the backbone of NASA.
Yeah.
And a lot of, like, kind of like, let's just not look too deeply into your activity.
Yeah.
So that we can beat the commies to the moon.
And we
did.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
And it is a moral quandary because you have all the stuff that was intended for evil.
Yeah. And it's a moral quandary that we've crossed that bridge as a species multiple times. So much of what we understand about medicine came out of
the Holocaust.
The Holocaust.
Yes.
And
it's that question, is it dishonoring their torture?
Right.
Or is it honoring their sacrifice?
And that is weighted question.
It is a tough one.
I don't know the answer to it. I mean,
evil's gross, dude.
Evil is super gross.
I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
I mean,
evil bad.
I don't want to sound like high and mighty.
Right.
But
evil's not the best thing ever.
It's
cool. Really not great.
It really isn't.
Yeah.
And don't do evil.
Don't do evil, guys.
Don't do drugs.
Yeah.
Don't do evil.
Don't do evil. We're not even on holy crap yet.
We're not.
Yeah.
But you know what?
Let's
just wedge this right now.
Right. So things get more heated in the episode as the other races, through leaks, discover what's going on. Garibaldi is super not on board.
No, not at all.
Garibaldi is sort of the moral voice in this episode.
He is.
That Jeff is following orders, going to make sure that she gets where Earth Command wants her to go.
Yep.
And Jeff's like Garibaldi's like, those orders are bogus. Like,
I think he actually said those orders are crap.
They may have said crap, yeah.
or something like that.
Those orders stink.
very 90s.
It was
not
well,
swear.
it was silly because
yeah.
it was a not swear, and it should have been.
It should have
for-
been a swear,
yeah.
yes, because he's a military man and
Right.
and a cop, and those guys.
They don't swear often.
They never.
But when
really-
they do,
when
it's
they do, it's
important.
judicious.
Yes.
It's like surgical swearing.
Yeah.
The word gets out. The League of Non-Aligned Worlds wants her tried on Babylon 5 for the crime she committed. The way the council is set up, the League of Non-Aligned Worlds, they're a smaller political bloc, so they get one vote combined versus Earth, Minbari, Centauri Prime, Narn, and Vorlon each get one vote. So, you
Yeah.
got to get. Wow, is that really 6 total votes? I guess it is. So
You'd think there'd be an odd number.
you'd
but-
think it would be an odd number for tiebreakers, but I don't think it is. No. Well, because the Vorlon usually abstain. Because the matters are beneath them. So you get Sinclair, I think, kind of breaking orders and voting for the trial.
Yeah.
I don't think Earth wanted that.
No.
Then, of course, in their posturing to look magnanimous and, we're all above this, the Centauri and the Narn both vote against it because they can't have all the dirty secrets of their governments and their ties with the Dilgar.
And they give very eloquent speeches
Very
to
eloquent,
sound like they're
Yeah.
doing it for the good,
Right.
Not for selfish.
And then
intent.
the Minbari actually pull the same stunt, which surprised Sinclair.
Yeah.
Sinclair was expecting the Minbari to be honorable, but because they had the Windswords had ties to Deathwalker, if only we knew her name, then they didn't want those aired publicly. So it is 3-2 against, with the Vorlon abstaining. So no trial.
no trial.
So she's gonna go to Earth.
Go to Earth. Yeah.
Yeah.
At this point now, I think we go back to our friend Ambassador.
Yeah. So Kosh has been continuing these conversations with the Riddle Man. Mm-hmm. And we get more flashes into Talia's brain.
Yep. See a shadowy figure.
A shadowy figure who looked a lot like the Earth First guy that Ivanova dated. But he was in shadow, so...
And without spoiling anything for future episodes, because it wasn't the same actors, he's supposed to be the guy, the human guy that's among that other...
I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't know either.
It was too dark to say,
Yeah.
but I don't think so. I think the hair was wrong.
Yeah, that's what, it was a different actor.
Yeah.
But I was like, I wonder if it was supposed to be
Oh,
that character
I see
and they
what you're
just
saying.
hadn't cast it. I don't know,
I don't know.
if you knew.
I don't know offhand. That would be a bit of trivia I'd have to dig deeper for. If we find it, we'll put it somewhere.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
Put it right here.
There. On that exact piece
Right-
of
right
wood
on this line.
paneling.
Yeah, right there.
Right there.
4 years ago, I was assigned to scan a suspect in a murder case on Mars Colony. He was a serial killer. I'd never been inside a mind like that before. His thoughts were brutal, violent, terrible. It was the most frightening experience I ever had. I still have nightmares about it. Today, I felt those same thoughts again. But this time it was no nightmare, it was deliberately provoked.
We get more flashes in her brain.
Yep.
And sort of discover that this was all a big setup just to scan her brain.
Yep.
To uncover some stuff that is still buried. When that will be discussed in a future episode. Because
Yeah.
we've only scratched the surface on Talia Winters.
Yeah, I haven't seen any other episodes beyond this one, so I don't know.
Yeah, so more to come on that. As Deathwalker is heading to the jump gate.
Well, no, I guess the end was the final reveal of our Hat Man.
Yes.
Okay, so yes, she's in the ship. It looks like
in
a Minbari ship.
She's in a Minbari ship, one of their non-military.
Well, we should also,
shuttle.
so a bunch of the Allied Worlds ships are coming out.
Yeah, and they were sort of barricading and threatening and
Yeah.
yada yada yada. They are not happy about what's going on. Ivanova is able to stall them for a little bit, but because the vote didn't go the way anyone really wanted, Sinclair's like, we promise we'll share the information. We will spread this good out to the universe. And in their final conversation with Deathwalker, it turns out, you can't manufacture this drug without killing sentient beings.
Yeah.
So,
So for every person that gets to live indefinitely, another person
person
must
will
die.
die.
And she was saying like the joy she would feel of watching people stumble over each other.
Yeah,
to do that, to be as evil as they
yes,
were.
like that will be her legacy, that you will become her.
Yes. So she had no good intentions
No good
whatsoever.
at all. She wanted to watch everyone else who was all high and mighty come down to her level.
Yep.
And she was gleeful about her evil. She is pure evil.
Yep.
So she must drive a Tesla, apparently.
Well, yeah.
obviously.
Well, not an original, like a Cybertruck or newer.
Right.
Because that's...
Yeah. As an aside, my neighbors with their Tesla traded it in for a Volkswagen. So, a vehicle made by Hitler replaced by a vehicle made by Hitler. The car of the people. Something like that.
Yeah, the people's car, essentially.
People's car of the people. Yeah. Volkswagen.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, so... Pure evil, Intermembari shuttle, going to the jump gate.
And at this point, I am thinking, how bad would it be for dozens of sentient species to be able to live indefinitely?
Right.
Because my thought was, before getting the reveal that she has all these evil intentions, it's like, well, we're going to end up fighting for resources.
Right.
We're going to... Well, we being this collective of sentient species are going to have to find and invade other planets for resources, enslave, murder, all these things.
Even if it were just a morally neutral drug, the outcome is not good, because eventually you will get to scarcity of resources.
Yes. And I was like, oh man, that's actually a really bad idea.
Yeah. And then we find out the real evil, and it's even worse.
Yeah.
Because it's going to accelerate that to not hundreds or thousands or tens of thousands of years from now, but now.
Yeah, go find a planet with millions of people, enslave them, kill them off.
Start looking for young races that aren't spacefaring yet. Yeah,
just kill them off, and the more of your civilization gets to live indefinitely.
So
good stuff.
She goes toward the jump gate.
Yep.
Then all of a sudden, jump gate activity before she gets there, and out comes a Vorlon destroyer.
Yes, in all of its beautiful 64-bit glory.
Yep. And it fires a single shot.
Poof.
And all the ambassadors and everyone are gathered together, and Kosh walks in just before this, and they're like, oh, what are you doing here? And then kaboom. And then, why? You were not ready for immortality.
Yep. And also, most people were actually really happy with that result.
I think everyone was like, oh, thank God.
Yeah, because I think they were all weighing those implications.
Yeah, they were all like, yeah, our governments want this, but this is really bad.
Yeah, like maybe if just we could have it and not share it is probably what they're thinking. It's like, okay, this is much better. No one
having it is much better than someone else having it.
Yes.
And then we end with the reveal.
Yes.
Of our dude is
a vicar, which is a throwback to ancient Earth technology, a VCR.
Because
it records.
He just records. He can record anything. So he pulls out a little data crystal, hands
takes the hat off, and we see
his exposed brain and a data port.
Yeah, some machinery around the rim.
Like mini Lobot.
Yeah.
Not quite Lobot, but similar.
A more elegant Lobot.
But with exposed brain.
Yeah.
Grosser and elegant at the same time.
Yeah, weird.
Yeah. Not a good look. And so it all just seems like this whole meeting with Talia and Kosh was just a setup to start scratching away at her secrets.
Yep.
We'll see.
Yeah, there's a lot to mine in future episodes there.
Yes, there is. And that wraps up for Babbling On About 5.
Yeah, great episode. Go watch it.
Go watch it.